all new. AM1150WTMP.com.
Oh, yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Yep, there you go, there you go. We right on time. Caught that just as we needed to, and to make stuff happen. And as usual, Gabriel walking in late, but we good.
It's Latin time, right?
So here it is, Saturday afternoon again. The gang is here. I'm here. Tim is
The
here.
elephants have arrived.
Gabriel is here. And Porch Talk Radio. And I know some of you guys are just tuning in, but some of you guys have been around all morning. So this morning I was kind of off whack a little bit. I was a little off kilter. Wasn't feeling too good. But I couldn't call in. This ain't a call in kind of show. Not call in sick. It ain't one of those kind of things. So
You could have called me.
so. Yeah, no, but as I said, the nature.
I'm sick. That's too damn bad. Get up.
The nature of the show is, you can't call in sick, so you got to show up whether you.
Because we're dedicated. That's why we're the best show out there, Eddie.
Whether you're good or not. So
The highest rated show.
So yeah,
Again.
we do what we do for a reason, and I know this ain't really calling, so it's somebody else calling who don't know we're doing a radio show. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So. Welcome to Saturday. Now, it can't be Black Saturday because they had Black Friday.
They got that Brown Friday one day, you know that.
And then they got Cyber Monday. So all these days now got some kind of name that supposed to make you spend money. So
Make your pocketbook open up?
well, it's the nature of it. Like it's something special now. Now, I know black folks was supposed to be spending money with black folks on Black Friday. That's something we got to get started doing. That's got to be some kind of national trend. So again, that's something that we all should participate in, and that's something that's healthy for the community. So we got to understand why we do stuff, and then
Recycling money in the community itself. That's a help out the people. And again, folks, we're not talking about spending more money than you normally spend. We're saying take that money that you normally would spend and just direct it first through the filter of your own community, local community, black community. That's what we're saying. Spend your dollars. And if you're Hispanic, my goodness, we have tons of black and Hispanic businesses all over town that are doing well, make a great product, they have a great service.
Yeah.
And you go, man, that's really good. Help them out, and they're going to spend their money where, Eddie?
with the folks who help the community.
Wow.
And that's how you build the community. That's how you make that Black Wall Street thing happen. So
That's why there's a Chinatown.
yeah,
Because
Chinatown.
they spend the money right there inside themselves.
Chinatown is all over America. And see, that's part of our conversation today, once we get the show started. Asian Pacific American as a voting bloc. It's the largest voting bloc
Loyal.
of minority
Very loyal.
folks in the country.
A lot of them are business people. They know how to run a business.
Well, they're conservative by nature, too. So,
Mhm.
well, let me go ahead and get the show started, and we can.
Oh, that's right. We're Porch Talk Radio, aren't we?
Yeah, then we can get into that conversation.
All right.
So welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon, and this is Eddie Adams Jr., your host, and Gabriel Phillips,
Live.
helping out over there, and of course I got folks down at my cell phone, but they ain't calling me to call me. They folks just call me because they like pushing my number. So anyway, if you want to be on the show today, the call-in number here for WTMP, call-in show, Porch Talk Radio, and then it's good for all the other shows too. The same call-in number, just depends on who your host is. At that point in time,
We're the real deal here.
what you choose to
We're
call.
the main show.
So the call-in number is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. If you want to be on the show today. If you want to call me like somebody was just calling, they didn't give me time to put the cell phone number out there. So for somebody who already had my cell phone number.
Don't call.
But Eddie Adams Jr.'s cell phone number, if you want to call me after the show and have a conversation about something we said or something you want us to say or some information, then give me a call. Eddie Adams Jr., 813-230-3312. 813-230-3312.
Now, folks, make sure and call Eddie. Eddie will respond to you eventually. If you call me, I'll look at that number and go, I thought I paid that bill, and I ain't answered. So that's why you want to call Eddie. Keep it simple. He does respond to your calls and text eventually. He never responds to mine, but that's another story. What else we talking about, Eddie?
All right, and then we got to get the website, Porch Talk Radio.
It's a nice one.
.com, porchtalkradio.com, and if you need to email me, again, we put all that, that tech stuff out there. It's Eddie, EDDIE, at porchtalkradio.com. Okay, I could not, I'm telling you what my nature is. I sometimes get to listen to other radio shows on TMP on Saturday morning. But when I'm coming into the station, I live in Temple Terrace, I usually listen to the show that comes on, right before me, and the show that comes on after me because I'm in transit.
Away, yeah.
So I'm in transit. So I usually hear them. And Sean Shaw is a good guy. Sean Shaw is a person I like to consider to be a friend, But Sean
He's before us, right?
Yeah, Sean
nice
is a
guy.
diehard yellow dog, Democrat. So occasionally we disagree with stuff because we are both, community servants.
That's awesome.
And as long as what we're trying to do at the end of the day is not just political, sometimes it may be, but mostly, it's about how we make this Tampa Bay black community better. And I feel that down in my bones. But one thing that, they were talking with the conversation this morning about, charter schools. And I'm one person who
my kids went to charter schools.
Who have been involved heavily with charter schools.
And they did great
and my
because of it.
issue with public schools, and again, there's some things that need to be answered, is about for the purpose of educating black and brown kids, particularly black and brown boys. There's evidence, factual information. If you ever have any question about it, do some research on your own, and you will find that those charter schools are graduating and educating the hell out of black and brown boys. I'm just saying, as a point. And I can't be mad at a system, that's because the public schools will have, now I'm going to tell you this, I know, they'll have $3 billion.
That's with a B, Eddie?
$3 billion.
My God.
So $140 million out of $3 billion, that's about the size of a hair on a gnat's ass. I'm just being straightforward with you.
That's a big ass.
Being compared to the consideration for what they do for the black community and the Hispanic community, for educating our males. I'm just saying.
Well, Eddie, now, I think you're off on the side here a little bit because you said educating the males, but then what the charter school does, because my kids have gone through charter schools, they actually provide good community people in those classrooms, and we have some great ones in our public school system now. Casting shade on public school.
Yeah.
But the fact that I know that when my kids were in charter schools, this is not a charter school hour, okay, guys? We're just cutting this out real quick.
Yeah, just kind of
we have some great people that work in the public school system, and God bless them all. But anyway, but the charter schools seem to have a different focus. You said education.
Yeah.
And education is important, but also leading by example is something that the charter schools take differently, that I believe the public schools are not allowed to go there, that they have to let the kids kind of float on their own and figure out their sexuality and all that. And in charter schools, the ones my kids went to, the males were good role models. They were involved in their local churches. They were involved in their communities. And for the ladies as well, they were great examples for the girls to look at. And I believe that's where there's kind of a divider right there, that the charter schools goes one direction and the public education goes in the education route the other way.
Public schools have failed in that they won't take moral ground.
Correct.
And they won't be
that's
moral
offensive. That
because
is offensive,
they're too busy trying to
Be
be
politically
politically
correct.
correct with everybody and everything, and for young kids who have decisions about who they are and what they are and what kind of life they're gonna lead. Again, in the public school system, the educating of black and brown males, the public school system, and this is something I have been told by the superintendent,
Okay.
have done a pretty poor job. I'm just being straightforward.
And I think it's a cultural. See, we go deep on this. This is why
Yeah.
education likes to stay away from this subject
Yeah.
because it goes into cultural. What's the culture of the black male that's 15 or 12? What's his culture where he lives? What's the Hispanic culture?
Yeah.
And then what's the white culture?
And the teacher.
Yeah, all of that is a
Yeah,
mix that
right.
the public school system cannot address by the rules they've set up to operate off of,
Right.
and that they have to just shovel out education,
Right.
shovel it out to the kids, and regardless of what's happening at home or
Well-
whatever, that's their business.
Well, again, sometimes, a child has to learn right from wrong and good and bad and all those.
But where does that happen?
All those issues
That's at home.
that places a person within the society. And like I say, the educational part of it's not that they're dumb, they're stupid, being black and brown boys. It's just sometimes it may take an extra or something,
Right.
And the charter schools have had the time,
Yes,
the
they do.
energy,
Yes, they
and
do.
the track record that whatever they're doing,
Well,
be
they can
it-
invest.
be
You know
it
what, Eddie?
good or bad and different.
They can
They
invest
figure out
more
how to make it work.
into the individual
Right.
as opposed to invest in the education side of it. And there's still very smart kids that are educated in our charter school system, but I think overall, holistic is the word coming to my head, but more kind of the well-rounded individual, I believe, is served better in a charter like what the charter has to offer that the public education system does not.
But the other thing about, and then we're gonna get off of this, we're gonna get on our real topic. But the other thing you gotta take in consideration too, charter schools have purposes or aims that they gotta explain to the Hillsborough County School Board that we're focusing on this and we're focusing on
Right.
that, and the people that go to those schools can choose, what their focus of, what their aim of, what their tolerance is going to be, and thereby pick a school that may be a charter school that may do better by them as an individual.
Correct.
So
That's a different story.
So that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
way
parent,
different.
And people say, well, the parent's not accessible. But sometimes, if you got a good school, and this goes contrary to what people say about public school, well, the parents are not involved. Well, I don't think parents are more involved with charter schools than they are with public schools. The nature of the school, and the parent involvement, it has to do a lot cultural, because if the parents working two jobs, they're not going to be the PTA meetings, they're not going
Right,
to be making
right.
to school
Sitting there
board
with the
meetings
homework,
and a
trying to
lot of
figure it
other
out.
stuff,
Yeah, that's just reality.
But taking the exact same circumstances and the exact same parents, the kids are doing better. Black and brown boys are doing better in the charter school system. That's me saying it. And again, taking over from the conversation. And I know everybody that was on the last show probably shaking their head as they're going down the road in their cars, but I couldn't let that not be said. So.
There we go. Trying to add some balance, folks. All about balance.
So that's the good thing about having a show that comes on after somebody else, because if you need to make a comment, you get to have, and what they say, you get to have the last word. So that being said, taking a last word approach, to the whole thing about charter schools.
Now, folks, real quick, just a quick little etiquette. If you want to call us, and if you have just an absolute complaint, gripe, whatever, feel free to just do that. Tell us what it is, and then that's it. Then you back away, and then we'll have a chance to talk to it, and we'll kind of go to the next person. If you just want to call, yell, and scream, and just for the heck of it, but you know what? God bless you.
Well, the nature of Porch Talk Radio is that at the end of the day, because of the nature of the show, myself and Gabriel, as I've said many times before, we just bring you information. We're really not here to entertain you. If you want to have a conversation, call and we can have a conversation. But the nature of it is that we bring in information, and if you think we're telling you something that's untrue, tell us. Tell us, you think we're lying, even though it's not our intention to lie. Sometimes we may have information that's not correct. Like last week, I think I was giving some information out about the Straz Memorial, and it was wrong because I got wrong information. So from time to time, it may happen that we give out some wrong information, but because we got
But
some
it's
wrong,
very rare,
we got
folks.
some wrong yeah.
Eddie and I spend
yeah.
the week looking through stuff, talking
Yeah.
to people that know, that are doing whatever it is we're going to talk about. So we pretty much have a good handle, but every now and again, something slips up. But that's all right. Just pray for us too.
Well, this week's topic is something that I am traditionally, and I'm going to say I'm not an expert on, Asian Pacific Americans. Okay, we're talking about minority voting blocks. Right now,
We're very loyal,
and
Eddie.
this comes, I found out that the largest minority voting bloc in America is what's called Asian Pacific Americans. That mean, I could say just Asians, but when you say Asians, that includes all the folks that's in India, that includes all the folks that's on that side of the world, particularly because Asia is a continent. So everybody that's on that continent would be Asian, even though we consider, Indians to be different, but they're still Asians. So I'm just saying, and the census consider them to be Asians also. But part of the nature of it is that most of them, like Chinese and Japanese and the people that we consider, that we as people consider to be Asians, have a bloc, and that bloc is traditionally conservative. Now, what has happened over the last few years is that the bloc is conservative. The older Asians, were mostly Republicans.
You know why?
The ones that did vote, they was conservative and they voted, and they voted Republican. Yes.
I got this.
Okay.
'Cause I took care, when I was running an insurance agency and I dealt with several Asian businesses out of Oklahoma City, they were all hard-working people.
Mhm.
They didn't, the hours to them didn't matter. They just had a task or a job they had to do, and they did it. And they tirelessly worked hour after hour, day in, day out, 7 days a week. They worked their little family businesses,
Yeah.
and they saw themselves making a dollar bill, and then they saw themselves giving a quarter to the government. And they were saying, what do I get back for that quarter? So they actually saw the money transpiring, and they got to where they got with their new cars, nice homes, by hard work. So they earned it. So they had a different perspective. That a lot of them said, well, this is what conservatives are about. It's just hardworking people trying to make a living, and the government wants to rob me of my money to give me what? The corruption? So that's why I know a majority, like you just pointed out here, were just conservative because they knew the value of a dollar, they knew the work they had to do to get that dollar, and then they had to pay tax on that. I go, what am I getting for that?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more to it than that, because some of them have, they remember the motherland. And,
Oh, yeah.
and if they came from China, they came from a communist background.
Where they had no freedom.
So, right, the fact that they had no freedom and the government owned everything, and everybody was a peasant, coming to America.
That's true. Communism and socialism right there.
Yeah, was a little different. They can express themselves without having everybody in the family killed or everybody sent to jail. And so it's stark contrast between America and the freedom and what they gave up to come here. So,
But their kids don't know that, Eddie, that they've since been raised here, and their kids' kids don't know that, and they're going more and more liberal on
but
it.
that's the trend.
Because now they want to be getting lots of benefits, and they want to get free stuff.
That's the trend.
And their folks had to work in the beginning to make it all happen.
Well, their kids are becoming Americanized, and that's what's changing.
Liberalized.
The political vote of
The Asian
of
culture?
Asian culture.
Wow.
So
That's a shame.
So it's becoming more and more progressive. Now, nobody's as bad, and let me repeat that, nobody is as bad as monolithic voting as the black folks.
Excuse me? That's not politically correct, Eddie.
Nobody-
Hispanics are right there, unfortunately.
No.
Hispanics just follow that stupid line all the way to the voting booth.
Yeah, but Hispanics don't vote 90% every election.
That's true.
See,
They're getting better.
They are getting better, and part of this conversation is how much time, energy, and effort is the political parties showing to the minorities. Because if you've heard some of the debates, some of the Democratic candidates, are pretty much turned off the whole black community. So the black community, the folks who are black who will vote, and these are Democrats, they won't vote for certain Democrats because certain Democrats are out and out, flat, downright foolish. with some of the stuff they want folks
Buttigieg has
to
been one of the
interest
he's
in.
one of the lead
Right.
people right now. They're showing on his percentages. He's going up a lot.
You're turning off the black community.
Well, the Buttigieg keeps coming up with all this silly stuff, and you're like, okay, so let me get this straight. You are the conservative Democrat that kisses your male spouse on the stage to announce that you're conservative, and you want black people to vote for you, but yet black people usually are conservative in how they live.
Yeah.
So, and there are deep down low blacks. Right. I understand that, right. But yet that's not the overall culture. No. That doesn't represent the entire culture.
No. That is a voting
it's mainly conservative how they live.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then having a gay white guy up there representing the black people, it just gets dumber and dumber. And you're like, why do I want that?
Well, see, and the other thing too, and it'd be different if the Democrats had something different to offer than the Republicans. Republicans got a 70, 80-some-year-old white guy, old gray white guy, and the Democrats, in order to be contrasting, you would think they would be offering something different, because another 70, 80-some-year-old gray white guy, again, I'm just saying, it don't make no sense to change from one old ass gray white guy for another old ass gray white guy. One is more liberal, one is truly lying to you. The other one, people are saying he's lying to you. See, and it's a difference between the two. And I think that the Asian folks, the Japanese and the Chinese and those folks, from the East Coast of Asia, understand there's a big difference between what you say and what you do.
And again, folks, if you are happen to be one of these nationalities, we're trying to hopefully not butcher up here, understanding that the Asian group of people, Eddie's trying to say they're from a continent, because for him to kind of lump them all together is like saying all Hispanics are the same.
Right.
You tell that to a Puerto Rican about a Venezuelan, right. No, them fighting words, or even a Colombian.
Right.
They're all, they're Hispanic-like, but their cultures are close, but yet they got pride in their own culture.
Well, it's 5 or 6 different Hispanic groups. So maybe for the census, they lump them all together,
that's
say
what
Hispanic,
say
Hispanic. Right. For my little bit of knowledge, I know there's Cubans, there's Mexicans, and then there's Puerto Ricans.
There's Puerto Ricans.
And then there's Central Americans.
We have Venezuelan, we have Colombian out there, we have Chilean out there. Yeah. So we have all those different inside of one title.
Group called Hispanic.
Yeah, this group called Hispanic. And again, the cultures are kind of similar, but not really. But each one has pride in their own culture, like the black people. We have Jamaican people from the Caribbean.
Yeah. But see, it's enough black Americans to say black folks, and then most people consider those to be American black, as opposed to the Central
Islands. My lady I'm marrying,
even Africans from Africa.
My little lady I'm marrying, her complexion is dark as yours, a little lighter maybe, but she's Dominican.
Yeah.
So again, we kind of lump all together. Like, well, it's kind of all together.
See, everybody does that lumping except black folk. When black folks are saying black folk, most of the time we're talking about American-born, slavery, riddled, American black folks, either from the north or from the south or from the west. I'm just being straightforward. Yeah. We're talking practically here. Now other people may consider all them other black folks to be black folks,
right.
But us black folks here in America.
Well, you can tell.
When we talk, and a lot of those other folks from other countries may be black and from the island, may be black in skin tone, but a lot of them folks they don't consider themselves to be American black.
That's true.
I'm just saying culturally,
especially the British, the colony out there where the Brits are involved in, they consider themselves.
On the islands, they consider themselves to be Bahamians, Jamaicans, or whatever it is. Because they won't say, well, I'm a black Jamaican. They call themselves Jamaican, and that's it. That's all that need to be said. I'm from Bahama, I'm a Bahamian, a Dominican, wherever
Eddie,
it may be.
With all that said, I'm just old school. Call me what you will, just don't call me late for supper.
So anyway, we start talking about the politics of how people are voting, how voting blocks are changing, because you got to take in consideration a lot of time, energy, and effort is being put into the 2020 elections.
A lot of money, Eddie.
And that effort started, last year, and it's continuing this year, and then next year we're gonna see what happened, because the Asian voting bloc is changing. It started out being heavily, Republican. Then, over the years, the younger Asians started making the population go Democratic. Well, now, a lot of the folks are coming back and understanding that this is, democracy versus communism, and the folks are re-employing the fact that what communism was and what communism stand for, and that whole concept of communal living, how it started out as a good thing, and then the reality of it was never what they preached it to be, and these folks are reminding their young kids, and now we got college educated. A lot of Asians are college educated now. So even though they got communities that may be, have barriers or walls, because if you go most places in the West, they got a Chinatown. And so they got communal living where a lot of folks, even the young Asians, live in those communities. And so there's a thinking that they get when they go home that's different from what they get when they're out in the real world. And that community as a block is changing. And a lot of time, energy, and effort, and even in the couple of Trump rallies I went to, I've seen more and more Asians at the Trump rallies. So the fact that they're showing up, the fact that more and more blacks are showing up, the fact that there's something that's happening, and the black community is always the last one to know. We're in denial, and I don't mean the river.
Real quick to add back to the Asian, I know that President Trump has got Elaine Tail, who served as Secretary of Labor under George Bush, another Republican. He's put her in charge of transportation. So again, the Republicans recognize the Asian bloc is something to be dealt with, and as they keep people of that nature working in the administrations and give them high up positions, I think that's a good testimony to where the Republican Party truly is reaching out by putting people into power positions, not just little no-name titles.
One other thing too is because, like I say, they are the most populated minority. So that means blacks, Hispanics, and Asians.
The highest percentage?
The largest populated minority groups in America. So that being said, something that community has decided to do is like black folks, we was electing white folks and other folks to represent us. They start electing their own, because right now there are 17 or 18 Asians in the U.S. Congress. Between the House and the Senate. They got a couple of senators that's Asian, and they got a lot of House members that's Asian. So they stop voting for other people to vote for them, start voting for their own people.
Yeah.
So that's always a step up when
that makes sense.
When the community recognizes that we don't have to get somebody to represent us, we can represent ourselves.
And that's what you've been preaching for the
That's
longest time to everybody to do here in the county, to go up for a position to be voted in. Well, they only allow so many blacks in Hillsborough County Commission and all that.
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
Right.
Who said that?
Right.
Was that a black person said that, or was this a white person said that?
Well,
why did it have to be that way?
They gave you that one seat, and see what I've been
They
telling
gave you. Who gave you?
Yeah, what I've been telling you is we always need to go outside of that. That should not be your barrier. That should not be your framework. I mean, we got 8, 9 people running for that one seat. When there's 7 or 8 seats up there, you can go for all of them. I mean,
Eddie, you put something out there a while back that caught my attention. I was like, wow, that's a great thought. When you said, why am I going to go fish in just a pond?
There you go.
When I can own the pond. Is that what you said?
Own the whole damn lake.
Wow.
And go fishing whenever I get ready. Ain't got to ask nobody.
That's a minority thinking out of the box, folks. And we want you to be that person, thinking out of the box.
Right.
Whether you're Hispanic, you're black, whatever, you don't have to stay in that box, and there aren't so many allotted seats here. Well,
Right,
who said
yeah,
that?
Right. Exactly.
Why is that?
Well, the nature is, and we talk real talk, so black, white, don't get offended by anything I say. I'm not politically correct, and I'm not trying to be politically correct. Nobody ever limits what white folks can do. You only limit it because you're Asian or you're black.
You mean minorities don't limit that? They don't limit them?
Or you're Hispanic. I'm just saying nobody ever challenges white folks, about how many seats or how many this, how many that they are, but the minorities all get challenged repeatedly by the system, and that's what the system is geared to do, to challenge you, and they may not be intentionally doing it by race, but now they try to overcompensate by being politically correct. And the nature of being politically correct is you got boundaries and you're willing to play by the rules. That's why I start this show off as often as I can saying we're not politically correct because we have no boundaries and nobody sets the rules for what I can do and what Gabriel can do. Tim is a white boy.
But I still get more calls on this.
Tim is a white boy, so he get the benefit of the doubt. So.
He's our token, but we're good with it.
Tim get the benefit of the doubt. So the nature of what we do here is to bring the information. And again, I'm gonna tell you something else. It's an outgoing effort, and I think if nothing else, Barack Obama proved that you can get people to show up and vote for somebody, as opposed to getting people to show up and vote against somebody.
And Barack Obama was smart enough to have some people run it for him. His policies were terrible for America, but he knew that if he had enough people out there running around for him and putting them in place, today he's still golden because he had other people doing it.
He woke up a segment of the population that most people had wrote off. So even though
and he made it work.
Black folks were already voting at 80-90%, even more black folks showed up to vote for Barack Obama
just for the color of skin. And it worked.
Than for the Democratic Party and for anybody the Democrat currently got running. So there's nobody on that stage, and I'm going to keep saying this, because it's true, and hopefully, I know folks are listening. Nobody on the stage that's running for president for the Democratic Party is somebody that the community as a whole is going to, build a fence around or build a wall around and call him or her, even though we got black folks up there, ours, because
Kamala Harris is actually Jamaican, but that's all
she's
Canadian.
She's Jamaican and Indian.
Yeah, that's true. She was raised in Canada.
Well, again, so she's got a whole bunch of stuff going for her. She ain't as.
She's not true American, but she's
American. Authentic black because she don't have slavery.
Oh, wait a minute, Eddie. Wait a minute. No. You're going down the wrong path. You're going to say she's not black enough?
I ain't say that.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
Because somebody challenged Barack Obama, say he had no slave blood in him.
Yeah, he's not black enough. Okay.
So that black enough.
Well, he's technically albino.
Well, technically, what we're talking about is as a community, black folks are not going to show up.
Or mulatto. Mulatto.
In Barack Obama numbers to vote for anybody that's on that stage now saying I'm running as the Democratic president.
Yeah. Now, real quick correction here for anybody that gets after me. He's actually a mulatto. His dad was black and his mom was white. He's not an albino. That's something different. Never mind.
Albino is a genetic.
Yeah, that's it. I got crossed there. I got in the heat of things here.
Okay. Gabriel, you got to watch what you say because they'll call you and cuss you out.
Bring it. Come on.
Yeah, they call you say no, the hell you talking about? See, as opposed to the normal trend of folks.
I've actually had people tell me that I'm eating a taco that I'm not Mexican enough. I'm like, what the hell is that? What are you talking about? You know what? So that's just getting stupid.
How can you be Mexican enough?
I don't. It's like how can you be black enough? I don't get it. People being foolish.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what we're talking about now? We're talking about having a population of the community, part of the community, show up at the polls election day next cycle 2020, and vote for people as opposed to voting against somebody. And what the Democratic Party and what this community, want folks to do, show up and vote against them. So that's why they spending so much time, energy, and slinging so much mud at Donald Trump because they want folks to show up and vote against him. But
it's going to backfire so much.
Yeah, it is.
I saw last week it was Friday when they showed 92% of all media coverage 24/7 that comes into this country was about Donald Trump being awful. 92%. This man has more power than God. His voice is mentioned more than God. These people are so messed up in the head, that Trump derangement syndrome. There is no way this man can possibly lose with his name being repeated so many times, 24/7, Eddie. 3 years solid. Oh my God.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say
Wow.
the nature of it. You spend so
Democrats
much
have lost.
time
Their media.
trying
Woo.
to tell people, oh, he's not good, he's a liar, he's a this, he's a that, all the negative. But every time you say he is not good or he is not, what you want him to be, you gotta say his name and you gotta, give him like somebody in Hollywood said, there's no such thing as bad advertising. No such thing as bad publicity. Well, every time you keep saying his name, it
gets drilled in.
You keep hearing Trump, 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 Trump. And the media is trying to tell you he's not good, but in the other side of this whole thing, it's coming out Trump is good, Trump is good, Trump is good. Because while you spending so much time, energy, and effort trying to tell me he's not good, because my nature is to think you lying to me as
We'll go investigate. Go look it up.
As a media, and what they're doing is folks showed up and voted, black folks and white folks. So a lot of people voted for Barack Obama because they needed something to go politically to the polls and feel good about voting for somebody. And what they've done is they spend so much time trying to tell you not to vote for Trump that a lot of people are going to go vote for Trump, and the sentiment is changing. So you got a lot of black folks who are now probably, not have been, Republicans, but they're now independent, which is the largest growing national party is independent. The largest growing current national party is independent, and that means you got Democrats and Republicans both becoming independents, so that next election cycle they can actually vote for who the hell they want, and they're not going to be restricted by the party, to vote for Trump or to vote for whoever the Democrats come up with, but they're going to be able to go and vote their heart and not feel bad one way or the other.
I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper than that. They're going to vote their pocketbook, because right now we have, under the Trump administration, the least unemployed black males in history, the least unemployed Hispanic males in history, the least unemployed females ever in history. Under this one administration, in 3 years, this man has done amazing things that as people go and vote, they're going to have a car to go drive now to get to the voting poll. And when they get there, they're going to have a smartphone, I bet you, that they didn't have before, because they got a job now. And they're going to vote for the man that helped them get there, Eddie. They're going to remember that.
Well, see, part of this whole process, too,
and that's where the media doesn't get.
Is that the media's not ever... Now, I remember, a couple years ago, every day, you could tell whether the stocks were going up or stocks were going down, and whether the economics were good or bad, And matter of fact, I particularly heard someone saying that you got to get used to, not having anything. You got to get used to all the jobs being gone. You got to get used to
low unemployment.
To all these bad things, and this is the new norm. But in 3 years, all that has changed. So evidently, it may have been true on the path we was on.
Oh, wow.
But that path is now different. That path has changed.
It's brighter.
And the fact that all that stuff that we was constantly being fed, has changed now. It's no longer the same. No longer what they said it was. I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna feel bad afterwards.
Come on.
But it's a lot of lies that people have told for years and years and years and years and years, and one day you wake up and find out that these people you have trusted were lying to you, and there's certain facts that happen to say that cannot be true, because I've been told for so long, but because you've been lied to for a long time, don't make it the truth. It was always a lie, and it's been a lie, and the fact that now you wake up and the light goes on, the little bulb, shows on, goes on over your head, and you say, man, they've been lying to me the whole time. Well, that will disperse, and it will apply to so many other parts of your life, because now they weren't just lying about one thing, they were lying about a whole bunch of other stuff.
Now, folks, this runs deep. What Eddie just touched on, this runs deep, and I'll do another example on what he just said. I had a friend of mine, real nice Christian lady, that she would want to go out to go do something one time. I said, I don't have any money for that. And she said, oh, so why is that? I'm kind of poor right now. And she looked at me straight in the eye, good Christian lady, and said, well, the reason you're poor is because you're comfortable with it. You sleep with it, you eat with it,
Yeah.
it's always with you.
Right.
It's a part of you. You know what? That made me so mad, so angry. I was a Christian guy. I was the one that knew all this, and I was being put in my place. You know, I went home, prayed about that, and she was right.
Yeah.
As I changed my thought process, I've changed my prayers, that's for sure.
Right.
I realized, and today, I'm not rich, but you know what?
You ain't poor.
Bills are paid.
You ain't poor.
December's taken care of, and there's a God in heaven that knows my name. But that lie that I had bought and I'd gotten comfortable with for so many years was suddenly dispelled, and I had to make a change.
Well, it's funny that, you know, because I don't have to go far, because I've come through some stuff, and currently I have one regular payment. You know, I got a truck payment, and I don't want that. So as soon as I can, I'm gonna pay that one off. You know, but everything else,
I'll give you mine after that.
My house is paid for. You know, I'm fairly comfortable. I got a pension. I got Social Security.
And you're losing weight.
And I'm losing weight.
That's awesome.
And I'm getting more architectural work now. For those who don't know, I'm an architect. I'm getting more architectural work now than I have in the last 5 or 6 years. And I'm not advertising. I'm not doing anything more now than I've done in the last 5 or 6 years. It's just now I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting phone calls every other day of somebody saying, you know, now when I was doing architecture on a regular full-time basis, I did a lot of it. And then I guess the economy got bad, and then, you know, folks stopped building, folks stopped doing a lot of stuff that they was doing. And I guess, you know, now that Trump is in office, and I'm going to say the economy has changed. So folks got some
for
more
the better.
money.
America's winning.
They're now building. You know, I get calls every other day from somebody trying to buy one of my houses. I own some property.
Well,
You know,
right now,
I want to buy your house. I want to buy your house. I mean,
we're doing so good right now, the economy in America, that China's upset with us. Why is that? Because their biggest, how do you say, the biggest into America with China products, which is Walmart.
Yeah.
China's upset because we're doing tariffs on them. We're doing tariffs on China because the way the system was before the current administration, the China could bring their stuff in for next to no charges on it,
right.
But yet when we brought our products into their country, they were charged up to 25-50%.
Yeah.
And that was considered normal, and that was okay.
To make it non-competitive.
And they were happy, and now they're not happy because Trump has reversed it and done it to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got to do something. And Trump's like, why? We're collecting billions for the American economy and the American people here. We're paying for programs that we didn't have money before now. This is working.
Well, see, and something else.
So if they're upset and not
Trump,
happy with us, that's good.
Trump is playing the media like a fiddle.
Oh my God, like that cat with a red light on the wall.
Well, what he did over the last couple of days was he had this giant rally down in South Florida, in which he had 20-something.
It was huge.
30-some thousand.
It was
people
huge.
Showed up. Another 10,000 folks outside.
Huge.
And then he told the media he was gonna spend, I guess yesterday, playing golf, and he had a fake
Thanksgiving Day
caravan that went to the golf course, and had all these media cars following his caravan to the golf course, and he never got out the vehicle, you know, so they was all there saying, everybody was in their vehicle reporting, you know, typing, he's at the golf course playing golf all day.
When he was
over in Afghanistan with the troops.
But having
turkey with the troops. So the fact that, and he didn't tell nobody. See, that's the other
well,
thing.
The media's mad at him because he should have been spending time here worrying about this impeachment.
Well, the other thing about the swamp is he don't give a crap, and you can't drain the swamp without letting some of the swamp creatures go down the drain. So that's kind of what he's doing. He's getting rid of the swamp creatures, the swamp inhabitants. All these folks who are so busy trying to get rid of Trump, as you notice, the more folks that keep going after Trump, the more folks that kind of keep disappearing from the Washington, you know, scene. They're going.
I think right now
bureaucrats.
The Pelosi has figured out. She's got Nadler to work on this week.
Yeah.
He got fired the first time, but she brought him back in. I believe after it's all said and done, the Democrats in the House of Representatives know they don't have the votes in the Senate. to make it into
No,
a
they
full-blown
don't.
impeachment.
They don't.
This is not an official impeachment because the Senate has not voted on it. They have not called it for a vote. So this is not official anything. This is just him wasting 3 years. And I read $2 billion was sent out of Social Security to fund this continual witch hunt of theirs. That's affecting our retired people, but they don't want to talk about that. But after it's all said and done, I believe Nancy's going to back out and say, we're going to just censure him. We believe we can get Republicans on board. That way we don't have to go to a Senate impeachment, which they're going to call all the really bad people.
Shine the light
And
on
they don't
everybody.
want to do that. So
Right.
I believe by Christmas Day, the Democrats are going to have to back off and call it a censor and just call it good, because they can't allow Trump to get off scot-free.
Well, the problem becomes, and again, now we're talking about Trump as opposed to other conversations.
No, we're good with that.
But the issue becomes, they really don't want Donald Trump to have any victories. No victories, and they cannot stop him from having a victory in the Senate if they continue with this.
Which he would, because he would shine the light. They would shine the light
yeah.
and show how crooked all of them have been in this lie that they have perpetrated for what, years now.
All those secret meetings.
All those, and these are the top people.
Becomes public.
Yeah, we're talking, this is treasonous. It's called a coup, folks. Go do your homework on this.
And then what Trump didn't do, Trump thought he could play good, be nice in Washington, D.C., but he forgot the rules of the game. Because one of the things that Barack Obama did, all those Bush...
If they bring a knife, bring a gun.
All those Bush people
That's
that
what
was
he said.
there, I think Barack Obama, and somebody called me and tell me I'm wrong, but he fired all the federal...
the ambassadors.
Attorney, he fired the ambassador and the attorney generals.
Oh, I didn't know
all
that.
of them. He fired every
I'm going to
Bush
say, Eddie,
attorney general that was in Washington, D.C. when he took office. That's kind of what he has the right to, but he didn't.
Well, Clinton did the same thing.
He tried to keep some.
Clinton did the same
Right,
thing.
yeah,
Clinton came in,
yeah.
fired all the ambassadors. So this is just called politics, folks. It doesn't care whether you like it or
but
not.
Trump didn't do it. See,
that's where you got backstabbed.
That's his issue. Because some of these guys
Loyalists.
are still Obama loyalists, left over, hung around, and now they're doing
Just
everything
bureaucrats.
they can.
These are the ones that
from
make
the
the
inside.
average taxpayer
From the
upset,
inside.
because these are just bureaucrats that were appointed, not voted.
Yeah.
So they're in power for centuries until finally they just pop off one day right at the desk.
Well, they've been around for 30 years, 40 years, and they kind of got comfortable in their position, and not knowing and understanding that they are employed at the purview of the president.
At the pleasure is the word they use a lot.
Well, the
At
pleasure, but the
of
purview of the president, and the president can fire any of them without cause.
But wait a minute,
That's
Eddie.
the
Wait a
other
minute,
problem.
Eddie.
Without cause.
Who can he fire, Eddie?
All of them.
So that admiral, that admiral that went against him.
He can fire any of them that's not elected. Anybody that's in Washington, D.C. that didn't get elected by the people are working at the favor of purview, of the president.
So this
because they're just bureaucrats.
This goes to that admiral that thought he would go against Trump when
Yeah.
Trump pardoned one of the Navy people.
Yeah.
And that admiral didn't like it because he thought he was the boss. And Trump said, "Oh, by the way,
You're fired too.
you're fired. You're fired.
You're fired too.
Exactly.
You're
That
fired
was
too.
funny. He was out the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
See you later."
Well, see, we do that on Porch Talk Radio. So again, this is not a Trump, campaign.
I call it a common sense conversation.
I'm just talking. I'm just giving the information, and this started out us talking about Asian Pacific
Voting bloc.
American
They're loyal,
and the
but they're
voting
shifting.
bloc, and the fact that it's shifting, and what makes this a conversation for us today on Porch Talk Radio, is in talking to the black community. It's still a lot of black folks out there that got Trump butthurt syndrome.
Oh, big time.
They got Trump butthurt syndrome.
He's a devil incarnate with orange hair.
They hate Trump, but they don't know why. And what's happening is because they got this deep set anger,
Hatred.
and this deep set hatred. Other folks in the community, and I'm telling you guys, it's some young college kids that are voting age, and they haven't got caught up in this thing like you have. They're reaping the benefits of the good economy, and they ain't butthurt. And you kids still saying, "Oh, black folks, won't ever vote for Trump." I'm telling you.
Oh no, that's not
every
true.
Every week, more
and more. Oh
and
no.
more. And
Yeah.
if you ever go to my folks' Facebook page, I keep you updated because every week it's another group. It's another group of black voices, another group of folks, that say we
Blexit
speak,
was the first one to start hitting.
Black. Well, matter of fact, it was.
But there's another one. You're right. There's another black movement.
It's these groups of young folks who will come together on their own. See, when you got a leader that gives some folks a target, that gives them a head to cut off because they truly believe, without the head, the body won't function.
Yep.
Well, again, that's why a lot of these groups are just starting up and growing on their own without having some big head figure, because the head figure get all the attention, and of course when they get all the attention, they take all the pain and all the grief. Right? Yeah. They get Clinton syndrome, and they find them in the parks and where
they disappear. But there's blacks for Trump. There's Latinos for Trump.
There's women for Trump.
Oh my God! There's several huge organizations that are growing. I say the more the media keeps cranking, they're beating on that old drum. I think the bigger and bigger the voting bloc is going to become for the Trump administration.
Well, see, something else folks don't realize too is that women are a voting bloc, and that's one that they just assume
in large numbers women are going to be voting for Trump.
That they were going.
He's got security
they were going to have.
Democrats are not bringing to the table.
And the women are changing. Women are doing like black folks. They're deciding.
They're thinking for themselves, folks. That's what we want you to do. Think for yourself. What's right? What's the right thing to do?
All right. I guess Gabriel actually reminded me we got to do on this day.
Come on, let's get it over with.
So I'm so used to everybody not being with it.
We got to get it done.
All right.
Come on.
He understands. He
Whatever.
come to the reality that
keep moving.
Might as well accept it.
Keep it moving.
You're like accepting the pain.
I guess.
All right. On this day, on November the 30th, 1782, the United States and Britain signed preliminary peace articles in Paris, ending the Revolutionary War. So the Revolutionary War ended.
The Tea Party was tied into that, right?
No.
That's when we were breaking free.
Yeah. That's when they had the Boston Tea Party.
There we go.
That whole thing was in there.
So Americans stayed and fought for their rights and won.
Yep. On this day, November 30th, 1835, Samuel Langhorne Clemens was born in Florida, Missouri. You know him as the writer Mark Twain.
Great writer, oh my God.
Mark Twain. On this day, November 30th, 1858, John Lanstis Mason received a patent for the first pepper shaker with a screw-in cap. And everybody remember Mr. Mason, because he's also the guy who invented the mason jar. So,
I'm sure.
So that's what they do moonshine in.
Well, I think that ties in with our Asian community, because the Asian community right after that figured out to put rice into the salt shaker so it wouldn't
clump
clog
up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right. And last but not least, on this day, November 30th, 1874, born on this day, Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill. Winston Churchill was a British politician, army officer, writer, and former prime minister of the United Kingdom. So he was born over there. He was actually royalty, so he was in the royal family. That Spencer part of it, So it may have been generations ago, but he was all part of that whole thing over there. So
well, that's awesome. He was good.
So
it's a mess right now, folks. If you look at what's happened to the royal family,
so
that guy, that pedophile thing, it's gone bad. Anyway.
Yeah, like the church.
Yeah.
Like
the
Catholic Church.
No, we're not going to start that one.
That part, that whole thing. So again, we got some good stuff going on. We got some bad stuff going on.
What's happening with the black? You had the black thing where people are going to be able to go online. Where's that anywhere, Eddie?
Well, what we're working on, we're working on the Black Index, and what we had done, for months and months and months, we had talked about, having the Black Credit Union. Mm-hmm. Well, again, part of that whole thing had a lot to do, as I said last week, with David Strauss. David Strauss was the person that made that viable, even though the nature of it being viable had nothing to do. We had something to do, but not so much to do. The idea came from the idea that we have millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars.
So we need to get another multimillionaire to step up to the plate. Then that's all we need.
Showing up to the banks on
We got him in Tampa.
Monday and Tuesday, with money from the black churches. The whole idea is see if we can convince the black churches to reinvest in the black community, and if we can get the black churches as a whole, it won't take all of them.
What does that mean, Eddie? Reinvest?
It take to put that money somewhere where it could be accessible for resources within the community.
Okay.
Because I heard Joe Robinson telling someone, a couple of weeks ago that the West Tampa CRA had $5 million. Well, that $5 million is resources that can be used within the community to help improve the community. And I know the East Tampa CRA maybe have like $3 million. But again, if you take that money and make it accessible to the community, that's just, less than $10 million. Think about how many millions, how many billions of dollars all the black churches have that could be put into use as resources within the black community. See, that's where the concept idea of a black credit union started. If we could take not only the church's money, but the congregation. Okay, most of those congregations got significant membership that have businesses and partnerships and relationships and family, and all that money put back in the community makes this community, well on the way to having our own Black Wall Street.
So and to add to the black churches, Eddie, just the black businesses as well, to be able to put their bucks into some of these accounts. Now, although credit unions don't do business accounts, do they?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, shoot, there we go. That's another open door right there.
Right.
So all we need, Eddie, just for another multimillionaire to step up to the plate.
Well, that's what.
And they're out there.
Well, I guess that's what I need to be on, because myself and City Councilman Frank Reddick introduced me to David Straz, and that was a great help, great transition. And David.
So if any of you folks out there know another multimillionaire in town, would you get Eddie and them hooked up?
well, I was hoping that part of what David Straz was going to do was try to set up a meeting to get himself and Jeff Vinnick, to buy into the concept. And if Jeff Vinnick buys into it, and Jeff Vinnick, I'm gonna tell you, he is a great community servant, just as David Straz was, and he's doing some things like the Jackson House. He just gave millions.
So I bet you somebody in this listening audience has to know Mr. Vinnick.
They have that whole concept,
make a connection happen here.
And if the community prospers, I'm gonna throw it out there like I mean it. If the black community prospers and does well, so does everybody else. The one community, the way Tampa Bay is set up, you can't have a prosperous black community and everybody else along the way not do good also. See, that because it's all interconnected, it's all related. And the black community has been doing bad for so long. Just think about it. If you turn that around, and I'm gonna say the mayor, Jane Castor, if somehow the black community turned around, all of Tampa would turn around. Everybody, because if the poor black folks can start making some money and getting ahead, and their businesses can start doing well, then think about the rich folks. The way money works. If you got a little bit of money, well, then that means these folks gonna get a lot of money. Because it's the same pool, it's the same process. And so if you put some money in, if it stays in the community, we get a couple more black millionaires, then guess what? They got to spend their money somewhere. And if they're spending money in the community, they're going to spend it in the rest of Tampa. So and
millionaires have needs.
Oh, yeah.
And they have services.
Right.
And they have big houses, and they have fancy cars. Right. They always break down.
Yeah.
But they look fancy when they're sitting in them.
Yeah.
So, and they need people repairing those cars.
Yeah.
They need people doing their interior decorating, and as we come almost to a close, Eddie, I got this in my head right now.
Go ahead.
If Black lives really mattered to you, and I've got a little Facebook meme I saw, this black girl holding up a sign that says Black Lives Matter, then if that's true, then you'd be gunning down the gangbangers and dope dealers instead of cops. Now, folks, as we keep a focus on what's important this season of giving and love and sharing, let's be real on what's really important. And let's go down to the root of stuff and try and fix stuff. Eddie's been touching on some of it here with culture. in the minority communities that exist. People say, I got mine, you go get yours. Well, why can't we just help each other out as best we can here? And understand who the real enemy is, and sometimes it's us.
In Planned Parenthood.
Eddie, you're come on now. You're setting off a bomb now.
So anyway, it's that time. We got to go. It's Saturday. Porch Talk Radio is a part of this community. We love this community. And
Yes, we do.
We have a big celebration down at
Bill
the
show it.
Black Heritage Festival. We're going to be part of that thing. So until next week when we do this all again, Tampa Bay, the black community, me and Gabriel, we love you.
God bless America. Merry Christmas.
See you. Bye-bye.